And just like that, I finally record a video again. Hi guys, welcome back to Book It. I'm Sav, and today we are going to be talking about reminders of him. Literally reminded me why I love this book so much, just rereading it and annotating it. This is a Coho book, so as we already know, I love Coho books. I think I've only done one book of hers so far, which no, I haven't even done one because someone has my books that I was going to go ahead and review, but they don't have them and I'm like trying to get them back. Whole big ordeal, whatever. But yes, so I will tell you that this video will have spoilers, so if you haven't read the book or you don't want to know what exactly happens, go ahead and just like click away, baby girl. But there are some triggers. I would say the biggest trigger of this is death. Someone does die. I have done a Coho book, I didn't confess when I think of death. Okay, sorry. Other than that, I don't think there's, like, I can't think of any other triggers that would be in this book other than death. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. So basically, the story starts off where we meet Kenna, and she is trying to, restart her life. She moves to a city, and at first we don't really know much about her. We do know that she, just got out of jail, trying to restart her life. She gets a job working at a bar for this guy named Ledger. And we go throughout the entire book. We find out that Kenna actually has a son with a man named Scotty, who was tragically killed and she was blamed for. So he passed away and her son lives with the grandparents, Scotty's parents, and they did not want her to have contact with him at all. So that's really upsetting. We then learn later on that Ledger was actually Scotty's best friend, and Ledger kind of plays a father or parental figure in, what's her son's name? Diem? D-I-E-M? Diem? Denim? I actually kept, the entire time I read the book, I kept calling him Denim, and I know that's not how he said his name, but Diem, I think. Diem, I hope. So we find out that he's a father parental figure, and basically the whole book is them, slowly falling in love without him really knowing who exactly she is. It's very cute, but I had a couple questions about this. First off, I think in the book they go into it, I genuinely cannot remember why Scotty's parents blamed Kenna for his death. I want to say that I know she had Diem when she was in jail. I want to say that she was arrested for killing Scotty when I think it was an accident, something like that. So that's fun. But the biggest plot thing that I struggled with throughout this entire book was Ledger keeps telling, how close he was to Scotty, how that was Scotty's best friend. He was always there for him, stuff like that. And then when Kenna moves to town and he lets her, work at the bar, has sexual intercourse with her in the back of his car, like all this stuff happens. And then he finds out like, oh, she was the wife of my friend who died, or the girlfriend, not the wife, the girlfriend of my friend who died. So as somebody looking at from like a stand back point, how do you not know that is your best friend's ex-girlfriend? Like when your best friend died, you usually know everyone who's in their life. That was something that always just kind of like, I don't know, throughout the book, it kind of rocked me the wrong way because I was just wondering how she came into town, how you guys had this entire like life kind of set up, because she does end up getting like an apartment. She does end up like working there. She ends up like being friends with some of his friends, stuff like that. How did you not know? That's just something that I think is left kind of unanswered. But so while I see the plot of the story, I was a really big fan of how Ledger was not a toxic man. I feel like in every Coho book, which if I keep saying Coho for those who don't understand, it's Colleen Hoover. I feel like I just throwing that out there. In every Coho book, I feel like there's at least one man throughout the entire book that is like the most toxic guy in the world. And he's usually somehow correlated with the main character, and we see like a woman like Anybody surprised my camera died? I'm not. So we basically see a bunch of women in these books going after men who are extremely toxic, and as any like girlfriend or someone that has girlfriends would be like, no girl, stay away from him, he's not worth it, he's trash. We somehow always like those characters. An example of that is It Ends With Us with Ryle, super toxic, yet the main character is like, oh, whatever. I haven't done a book review on that one yet. I don't know why I haven't. I have the book and everything. I don't know. So that's always fun. Oh, and Verity. I haven't done one on Verity yet, but toxic. So back to reminders of him. So she does like see her son out in public, and she wants to be a part of his life. The whole book plot is her just wanting to be a part of her son's life. Very understandable thing for moms that aren't in their children's life. Sometimes they really do want that, and she really did. The issue was the grandparents were keeping him away from her because, so bad, which in hindsight I understand, but at the same time she could have definitely like gone to, like, they had custody, but because she's a mother, had a job, had a house, didn't have any like criminal records with children. From a criminal justice point of view, she could have went and gotten custody or at least visitation rights and stuff like that, where they would have had to like show their son like who his mother was. That's just my criminal justice bachelor coming into play right here. It's just there is a point where she would have they had to, even if it's not full custody, she could motion the court for visitation rights. But I understand that's kind of a rough thing to do. It does cost money, so she didn't have a lot of money when she obviously got out of jail, but stuff like that. Another thing that really bothered me about this book was, how did she hide in plain sight? So she worked behind, in the kitchen of the bar. She worked as like a dishwasher, stuff like that. But when you live in a small town, and I am from a small town, when you live in a small town, everybody knows everybody and everyone knows everyone's business. There's always that one super nosy Nancy that has to get in everyone's business and is the town gossip. Where I'm from, we had a bunch of the town gossips. So I don't understand. Like, I get where she worked in the back and, she was hidden from like the actual public, but there were times that she would go out into the bar and then also just being out and about. So they are super shocked when she like gets out and she's there, and like Ledger's super shocked when he finds out like, oh my gosh, you're not this girl from nowhere, like you're my ex, like there's a whole oh my god moment. What I don't understand is, in every small town, there's the one nosy Nancy. I am 99% sure a nosy Nancy would have figured it out weeks before. Like, she would have been outed. No offense, but if Kenna would have moved to my town, she would have been outed at like, I don't know, maybe 48 hours if she had that much time. Because people always talk, and especially if they like know like the bar, like Ledger was a very like well-known person throughout the community because he ran the bar, he owned the bar, people loved him. So he's a very known person. Everyone knew that Scotty died. So like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, like, Scotty died, his girlfriend went to jail. Oh, now she's out of jail, now she's in town. Boom, they're gonna know exactly who she is. So that was also something I didn't understand. They tried to play it off as that, so I mean, okay, that's fine. I don't understand that. So when it comes to my favorite quote of the book, my favorite quote said, it's a long one, so I do apologize. People say you fall in love, but fall is such a sad word when you think about it. Falls are never good. You fall on the ground, you fall behind, you fall to your death. Whoever was the first person to say they fell in love must have already fallen out of it. Otherwise, they'd have called it something much better. I think this quote is so like, I get like chills, like actual chills, because it's true. Fall is a very sad word. And I understand people say, oh, I fell in love. That's another thing. I fell in love. Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Or like, oh, I'm falling in love. Great. How's it going to end out? So that's like my negative side coming out. Overall, this book was really good. It was very wholesome. It made me very like, because she does talk about how DM does remind her of Scotty, just the things he said, just how he looked. Like, she just knew that was his kid. And it was her child, too. Overall, this was a really good book. I really did enjoy this book. Coho did a really good job with this. I was very nervous when I started because a lot of people had doubts about it. Not that it was bad, just that it wasn't great. And I was a really big fan. So shout out Colleen Hoover. This book was beautiful. I loved it. It was great. 12 out of 10. I think on my Goodreads, I ranked it a 4 out of 5. I did that because, you know, so far only one book of mine has gotten a 5 out of 5, and that was the I'm Glad My Mom Died, Jeanette McCurdy autobiography. And if you haven't seen that video, please go watch it. It's really good. That was a 5 out of 5 for sure. I'm gonna say this is a 4 out of 5. It's definitely not my favorite book, but it's very, very good. I do suggest this when reading. It might make you cry if you are sensitive to things, so I would be very careful with that. And that is it for today. Thank you so much, Colleen Hoover, for writing this book. Mwah. I'm currently I'm currently recording and editing a bunch of videos right now. They should all be up very soon. I might throw this one up like quicker so that way I can, like, you know, get the rest pushed through. Make sure you follow my Goodreads. The link will be down below. And then make sure you like and comment. And I'm supposed to do something called like viewer engagement interaction. So yeah, leave a comment vaguely related. Any questions you have, any comments, what do you think? And who's the nosy Nancy of your town? That's what I want to know. I really want to know, who was the nosy Nancy of your town? Who knew all the gossip, all the drama, and would turn around and be like, oh my gosh, did you hear blank about whatever? Or did you not have one? Did you live in such a big city or such a small city that nobody could gossip about anything because nothing was going on? But yes, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!